Hey y'all, TraCheri here with Picture Me Living, and I am in Panama. Last day here. Got a few hours. Obviously, got to make a podcast, talk to you guys. And yeah, let's just get right into it. I know that I just came from Barbados, and y'all are like, dang, you on another trip? I am. I'm bringing back 2018 Trey, where she just hopped on people's trips and did the damn thing. All right, so I have a friend, Carolyn. If you watch the podcast, you know we talk to Carolyn frequently, the Miami boss, Carolyn. She's half Panamanian. So her mom is from Panama and of Panama culture, and her dad is from Haiti. So she's half Panamanian, half Haitian. And she has family here. And she wanted to come here, and she was going to come by herself, and she was asking me my travel advice when traveling solo. And she was like, I kind of don't want to go by myself. And I was like, well, let me look up flights because I've never been to Panama. And that's one of those places on my list that I'll go if somebody else is going, but it's not somewhere that I just gotta go and I gotta see it for myself. We're drinking water, agua. On today's episode, we're drinking water. That's a drink of the hour, of the day, of the week. Water. All right. But yeah, so I looked up flights and I saw that it was pretty reasonable if I used some of my miles to go. And so here we are. So the trip was supposed to be Friday to Monday, right? I got here Friday night later than I was supposed to. My flight was super delayed, and not even for weather. You know what really grinds my gears with traveling? Side note. It's when the flight that I'm on, that I was on time for, is waiting for someone. That's what really pisses me off, okay? Because I almost missed I did miss one flight, and y'all know I'm always late. And I missed one flight before in the past with family, and it was because we was late, and they put the standbys on. But I've been on numerous flights where the pilot's like, hold on, we got to wait on somebody. You know how it is when traveling. And I want to scream like, actually, I don't. No one's ever waited. A plane has never waited for me. And we waited on this person and they bag. And it got to a point where we waited for like an hour and a half on the plane at the gate. So at that point, we waiting for weather. We waiting for another departure clearance time. We're waiting for delays at this point because we wasn't finna be delayed, but now because we waiting on this motherfucker, we finna be delayed. So I got here super late Friday, and we hit the ground running. We went out Friday night. Not really a fan of the party scene or the food here. It's just okay. The company is what's going to keep you going because there is a lot to do. So the company that you're with is going to keep you going. And because Panama, anything Central America, Caribbean, it's only going to be 3 hours or less from Atlanta. So you're going to see some people from Atlanta and meet people from Atlanta, Miami. And we did. And we had a blast. We met like several girls' trips, birthday trips, all of that. Yeah, so I've had a great time, but I haven't had a plate yet that I'm like, wow, this food is amazing. Like, it's been mediocre to damn near nasty everywhere that I went. And y'all know I never give that review, so that's that. Still, a lot of things to do and a lot of restaurants, a lot of tours. The boat tour that we did, I'm going to tag it. Best experience ever. And the place that they took us to actually did have decent food. They did. They had a good shrimp plate. They took us to an island, but the boat itself had open bar. I mean, the amount of liquor that we drank on Saturday, it should be illegal. I've never drank that much liquor in my life. Just the whole Saturday. And mind you, we woke up Saturday morning hungover from Friday night. We found a mediocre party, had a good time, got tipsy. got like 3 hours of sleep, went on this tour that started at 9 a.m. The open bar started at 9 a.m., you guys. All the girls' trip was lit. All of it. That's why I'm drinking water. I mean, yesterday was Sunday and I couldn't do too much. Like, I didn't even want to walk. I did make it to the gym today, though, so got me a cute fan and a cute hat. And I had big plans for this podcast, too, because I'm wearing a bathing suit. This was not the plan. I wanted to see if, all right, vulnerable Trey here. I do feel like the bathing suits is a little too sexy for the podcast. I don't feel that way personally. I feel that way professionally. Personally, y'all finna get what the fuck y'all finna get. This is live and direct. I'm at a pool, for God's sakes, you know. But professionally, just looking at my numbers, I feel like, well, maybe I should cover up. I'm cutting out a huge audience of people that don't like to see women in swimsuits, right? And so I wanted to try something different. I wanted to put on a shirt, not even a crop top. I brought a whole shirt for you guys. So I'm already going against the grain and doing what I normally do. You know, I dated someone a year and a half ago that told me that I was too sexy to even do something like this. He specifically said the only sexy women reporters are like sports reporters, but anyone else, like no one watches sexy, beautiful women talk. And that was an asshole thing to say, right? Men are women's biggest haters. A man can be a woman's biggest hater, you guys. That's another vulnerable Trey moment. It's very hard for someone like me to find a fully supportive man. It's either how I dress, or I'm about to go on a trip again, or like a man is going to try to humble me every fucking chance he gets. They're going to try to upset you. If you are a successful woman, they're going to try to upset you. If they're upset, if they're not having a good day, if they're bored, they're going to try to ruin your mood. And there's going to be men out there to hear this to say, I will never do that. Date me. I promise you, after a few weeks, you're going to do something to try to piss me off on purpose, antagonize me, whatever it is, right? But anyway, back to the guy that I dated. He came out of nowhere. That was his advice for my podcast. He was like, that's why people aren't watching it, because people don't want to see a sexy woman. And I told friends about it, and they was like, he just a hater. But I don't know. It's probably some truth to that. Weigh in on that. Can someone be too sexy? Do I have to dial it down? I don't know if I can. I'm going to be honest with you. I just got through working out, and I really wanted to come to the pool and get this podcast done. And this is the authentic Trey in this moment. I'm in Panama. For God's sakes, I'm at a pool. So I said, we'll try out the clothes thing a little later. But one of my most watched ones is with clothes on. Not even gonna lie. So that's why I said numbers don't lie. The French Riviera one I had on a dress, that was slightly revealing, but it still had a lot of views. And the recent one in Italy, I was cold as fuck. I was outside. I was dressed appropriately for for the weather, and that got a lot of views. The swimsuit ones just don't get a lot of views, you guys. All right. I asked Carolyn to give me some topics. I didn't want to rush her down here to be a guest on the podcast. And I said, give me a topic. She gave me like 40. Uh, Carolyn gave me like 40. I love her for that, because she is invested in this podcast and she's invested in this conversation. So I'll just pick a few out of her 40, but I'm going to slide in my own topic, something that's been heavy on my mind for the last few months also. Type of travel friends. Like I said, me and Carolyn are the quiet, chill, fun. We always have eventful nights. But none of those eventful nights lead to something strange happening, right? Like I saw a meme one time that said, I don't know what y'all be doing, but I never make a mistake and get drunk and sleep with somebody. Like y'all crazy. And I'm like, yeah, I've never done that. Carolyn's never done that. But I do know some bitches that have done it. And it's always fun to witness stuff like that. And it made me think, man, why are our most fun friends crazy as fuck? And I ain't talking about crazy. I'm talking about certifiable. They probably need to take some medicine every day crazy. Like they need to heal. They need to go see that lady, not just a therapist, a psychiatrist. Like, but those be the most fun friends to watch. They never make it too long with me though, because after a while, somehow we get separated. But man, I have some fun memories with some very crazy ass people. And I mean, even if they walked up to me right now, we would laugh at those memories. Yeah. The girl groups that we ran into, both of those groups had some sort of bickering, some sort of drama, some sort of I ain't never traveling with these girls no more. Like, you got to know who you're traveling with. Why is it that important to have such a big group? Why is it so important to have a big birthday dinner? Why is it so important to have a big girls trip? Why is that so important to you guys? Just go with the flow and who fits the most with your personality. Drops mic on that one. I'm a firm believer of that. I'm a firm believer of I'm not going on a couples trip just for the sake of going on a couples trip. You know what I've been seeing lately too? Men on social media complaining about doing things with their girl. Like, oh, I gotta go on this trip with my girl. Don't go. Please, God, keep that type of man away from me. Do not ever complain about doing anything with me. We going on a trip with my homegirls. We going on a trip with your homeboys. I don't care. I don't care. I like to have fun. I don't like labels. We can go on a trip with your pastor. I don't care. We going, we going, and we're gonna have fun. That's all life is about, is enjoyment, or it should be, right? Nothing should be forced. Soft life alert. Soft life alert. What I think that means to me is I am going to do everything within my power to enjoy my life and make my life the most comfortable. I'm going to do everything in my power. Keep in mind, comparison is the thief of joy. Do not look to your left and look to your right and say, oh man, this girl over there, she got a bust down watch and this man is paying for this and she got a Cartier bracelet the other day. I want her soft life. No. My soft life is keeping my nails done. My friend, like Carolyn, hit me up. Hey, I'm going to Panama. Boom, I'm in Panama. That's my version of a soft life. A soft life to someone else might just be enjoying a series on TV under the roof that you paid for in your air condition. Soft life alert. Define what your soft life is and do whatever it is within your power to live that soft life. All right, so this next topic is my topic that I made a quick TikTok about it, and I just wanted to dump it into this video because it's something that's just been on my mind for the last few months. And I'm not going to say why. I don't want to pull names into it, but breaking generational curses. That has been the heavy boulder on my back my entire adult life. I mean, dare I say, since I was about 14 or 15, since I started working in a hair salon, washing hair for $4 a head. I was paying bills at 14 years old. when I started working at McDonald's, I was paying rent. Now, had somebody had asked me, did I want to pay rent, I would have chose homelessness to spend my money the way that I wanted to spend my money and live my life as a child and how a child should be living their life that works at McDonald's. But instead, I was paying bills to the point where when I got fired from McDonald's, I missed a day of work. I had to take an English test or something, a makeup test. I got fired. We got evicted like that week. Like, that's how I was paying. We were already homeless, living in a hotel, and got fired. Couldn't extend the extended stay. Had to go live with somebody, right? None of that should have been on me at 16, 17 years old. That flowed into my adult life. And this is a conversation that we typically avoid having. Friends don't even have this conversation with other friends that are breaking generational curses, but it is a heavy boulder. It is an elephant in the room for this person, and you just get used to carrying it, but no one really discusses it, okay? And I want to talk about it. It's the lack of boundaries for me. It wasn't until I was about 27 where I learned how to say no to people in my family that were older than me. And that's a whole nother story. I'll unpack that with my therapist. But I didn't learn how to say no. And I didn't know that no was a complete sentence. No. Period. That is something that we just don't talk about. With that person that's breaking a generational curse, that person has been called selfish, a bitch, an asshole, depending on its gender. Hey, man. It is men out here breaking generational curses also, and they are getting called names. They are getting no affection from their family at all. Their family will not check on them at all to say, hey, how are you doing? Family only calls to let you know how they're doing, which is always bad, okay? And we don't talk about it because it's just an ugly thing to talk about. And I want that to be more of a conversation amongst us, amongst friends. It's a job that has to be done. Then you have to think about how that generational curse breaker just wants to be loved, just regular, right? And we're surrounded by great people. That's the key right there. That's really what motivates us to break the generational curse. We're around some awesome ass people, okay? We're around people that have family. They got mamas and dads. That's the crazy part, because where I grew up in the hood, you only get one or the other. And when I joined the Navy, I started meeting people with parents, plural. Like, what? You got two? The fuck? And you start to see people's parents just calling them just to say what's up. Like, I even got friends who mama got their location on. Like, I'll never experience that, And that's what I mean by that person just wants regular love. Instead, we get, you're an asshole. You're selfish. You're this, you're that. It's a job that has to be done, though, because you're breaking that generational curse for your kids and for your nieces and nephews. Then this is the last thing. You're breaking the generational curse and you're creating a life for some entitled ass kids. And they're entitled to you because of how hard your life was. And that's how you're viewing it. And it's just a projection of the shit that you need to heal, right? Because the kids is actually living a regular American life. All the kids are spoiled, So it's just an elephant in the room, and you're like, why am I even doing this? Blah, blah, blah. Let's just talk about that more. I think that's a great topic. A difficult topic, but a great one. Let's get back to the travel. When travel becomes inconvenient. I think Carolyn wanted me to talk about this because she had a little fit when we were on the boat. Mind you, it was unlimited drinks, right? And when we pulled up to the island, we had to walk up a hill, and everything costs money. I mean, that's where I got this fan. This fan was $3. If I wanted to sit down, that was $5. If I wanted to eat, that was overpriced because they were waiting. It was like $20 a plate, right? But the hill really pissed her the fuck off. Like, she had a little fit. I said, Carolyn, we gonna stay in the gym. We had a conversation about that. This is why I will never stop working out. I mean, I'm going to enjoy life by any means necessary. Go back to the soft life alert. I'm going to do whatever it is in my control to enjoy my life, right? So I'm never giving up my personal trainers. I'm never giving up the gym, okay? But she did make a good point within her fit. She said, they need to make stuff like this more accessible. I came to vacation to chill. I didn't come to vacation to walk up a hill. Most countries are just not going to accommodate for us. They're just not. And I didn't know how to explain that to my friend. She travels a little bit less than me. I didn't know how to explain that to her and not sound rude, but I can explain it to you guys and be rude to y'all. So most people don't give a fuck that Americans are not in shape, okay? You just got to roll with it. And it does become inconvenient. It does. There are a lot of things that have happened within my travel. For instance, with Miriam and Sharon, we went to the Amalfi Coast. Actually, no, we were in Capri. Capri Island in Italy. And when you book these things, when you book these excursions, etc., they don't tell you, oh, excuse me, there is a fine print. We don't read it, okay? But they don't make it obvious in big bold print that says, if the wind is blowing too hard, we not going, and your day is going to be ruined. Your day is going to be ruined, bitch. You better find some backup plans. That's in very small print, okay? We went to Capri, and on the side of the island where they do the boat tours was so windy that no one could take their boat out. And this happens frequently, okay? Just FYI, if you're going to go there and you're going to book that boat excursion with your friends, just have a backup plan, okay? We did not have a backup plan. We had to hurry up and find something to do, which was another boat, which was like twice the price. I think we paid like $1,100 and had to split it between the 5 of us. And one of the individuals actually left early. So the split was even more than the last split. Then, when you get a refund, you don't get the refund to your credit card immediately. So we're essentially out of like $2,000 until the 3 to 5 business days. So yeah, traveling can be extremely inconvenient, and you just have to learn to roll with the punches. And I get it. It's not great, but we just got to learn to roll with it. Sticking to a diet and routine while traveling. It's tough. I got up and I worked out today. I worked out on Friday before I left, and I worked out today on Monday. My rule of thumb is never go more than 3 days without working out. That's in an emergency. I really try to not let 2 days go. And that's regardless of what I do. And that's just my rule of thumb. Go back to my soft life alert. I do everything within my power to just live an easy life, within my power. And that's my tip to everyone. Never take more than 3 days off, even on vacation. 2 days is optimal. Okay. 3 days is an emergency. Yeah. It's kind of difficult to stick to a diet when you're traveling, especially when your boat has an open bar. It's very difficult. I'm all about balance. I feel like you have to balance having fun and living your life. You have to balance those. And it's up to you to figure out what that balance is for you. Um, I do believe in you need to get to a point where you are the most comfortable, right? So for me, I have a point where I know I can't go any further. I can feel it in my stomach. I can feel it in my gut. Um, I can feel when I am about to be a certain weight, if that makes any sense. If I step on the scale and I see 170, I'm not doing shit. I'm finna juice cleanse. I'm finna do whatever I got to do to get to the other side of that, right? So that's the first start, is not going over a line that you set for yourself, okay? You set a goal, you get on the other side of that line, right? And you do what you got to do to stay there. And that way you can balance the liquor. You can balance the wings at 3 a.m. Yeah, I had a real Atlanta moment the other night. I had a friend order room service at like midnight, and it got here at like 3 in the morning, right? And it was some wings, and I smelt them in my sleep. And I woke up and told them hot wings up and went right back to sleep. I said, this some Atlanta shit right here. That's all I said. This some Atlanta shit right here, and went back to sleep. I woke up, it was wing sauce all over the bed. Crazy. Great time though. But yeah, you want to get on the other side of that line, okay? Set that line, get on the other side of that line, and that's where you balance. But I would not do such a strict routine that I'm not enjoying my life. I'm not going to advise you to do that. But I am going to advise you to do whatever it takes to be healthy and get on the other side of that line and then enjoy your life. If you're on this side of the line, do some cleanses, do whatever South Beach diet you need to do. I don't know. Calorie count, deficit. I don't think they say diet no more, y'all. I think that we old. We the only ones saying diet. You got to say calorie deficit. All right, the last Carolyn topic that I'll talk about is dealing with foreigners. You just have to roll with the punches once again. I don't speak fluent Spanish at all. I understand a lot of it. I'm about 40 to 50% because I've been to so many Latin countries. So I do know a little bit of what's going on, but I don't know the full conversation. But I have not pulled out Google Translate at all in Panama. But I have had waiters open up Google Translate for me. You know, they have to deal with not speaking good English and my accent. So you got to keep that in mind. It takes patience when dealing with people that don't talk like you and don't have the same dialect. Not only that, you have to be considerate that they are also at work. How nice are you when you're at work in America? You're probably a bitch or an asshole at work. Just like that person, that person breaking generational curses, that's a bitch and an asshole. That's you. You're selfish at work. You got all these labels at work, right? When you're traveling, they're also at work. They also have rent due. Someone's paying for their college. Someone is trying to get custody of their kids out of fucking child protective services. I don't know. People have shit going on and they come to work and deal with your entitled ass. It does take a lot of patience. I get it. And just like if you're rude at work in America and you shouldn't be, they shouldn't be either. People do have managers. You can ask to speak to them. You know, you do hold people to a standard, but as long as they're being nice, you can also be nice and patient with them also. We at 30 minutes. I'm finna get in this pool. I'm finna do my struggle backstroke, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye.